Hey y'all, it's me, the Nosy Goddess, and today we are in the business of Jeannie Mai and J. Wayne Jenkins, aka Jeezy, formerly Young Jeezy. Now we know they're divorced because that was all over the news and all over the blogs, and it was a shock because they had only been married for 2 years. Their very public marriage and divorce were all over the gossip blogs. They were in the headlines recently because their divorce battle has gone War of the Roses. Though they finalized their divorce on June 11, 2024, there are still issues between the two surrounding the divorce settlement. The settlement agreement is private, but we get bits and pieces due to various articles detailing their altercations. Most recently, there was an article in the Gossip Rags about how Jeannie called the police when she had trouble accessing her things at Jeezy's Atlanta home. Apparently, she had a court order to enter the property and retrieve her things, but when she got there, it was a whole different story. Let's see what the article has to say. Jeannie Mai showed up to ex-husband Jeezy's home to collect boxes of personal items from the home they once shared, but had to call the police after she was refused entry. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, Jeannie 46 said the drama with Jeezy 47 started back in November 2024. The exes initially settled their divorce in June 2024. A couple of months later, Jeannie said she had items that she needed to pick up from Jeezy's home in Georgia. Jeezy said he placed Jeannie's property, which included her Emmys and other trophies, photos, handbags, shoes, and other items, in boxes. The judge ruled that Jeannie could pick up the items within 21 days from Jeezy's home. However, Jeezy asked the court to modify the court due to him not feeling safe with Jeezy roaming around his home. Jeezy's lawyer said the musician was perfectly fine with Jeannie coming to his residence to retrieve his personal property. The rapper said he had legitimate concerns about Jeezy being able to walk through the whole house. Jeezy does not feel safe having Jeannie in his home, given Jeannie's history of attempting to destroy Jeezy's career with misleading information. Jeezy would have no way of knowing if Jeannie is planting listening devices or cameras in his home. This is from his lawyer. Jeannie is angry about the party's divorce and she is revengeful. In addition, the mere presence of Jeannie inside Jeezy's home and personal space after the highly contested nature of the divorce case would absolutely destroy Jeezy's peace and tranquility, as well as invade his privacy. Now, Jeannie fired back at Jeezy's claims he doesn't feel safe in his home. She said her lawyers notified Jeezy she would be coming to his home December 9, 2024. Jeannie said her lawyers asked for confirmation that Jeezy was going to allow Jeannie inside the home. Jeannie's lawyer said their client had no intention of invading Jeezy's privacy or placing any recording devices in the home, and that she simply wanted to make sure she didn't leave anything behind. Jeannie says she arrived on December 9, 2024 with her movers at Jeezy's home. She said Jeezy's house manager, on the orders of Jeezy, refused to allow her and her security team to access the garage where her items were stored. The house manager continued to refuse to let Jeannie and her movers access the garage. In fact, the house manager called Jeezy, who again confirmed that Jeannie and her movers were not to access her items, disregarding the court order entirely. At this time, Jeannie called the Atlanta Police Department, who came to the property to gather a report on Jeannie's denial of access. Jeannie, as always, was the consummate professional, Jeannie's lawyer wrote. The police were not called to make a scene, but instead to report that the court order was being violated. When the police officer informed the house manager that a court order was in fact being violated, the house manager then had to shift gears and create a new barrier to entry. Next, the house manager, at the direction of Jeezy, refused to allow anyone on behalf of Jeannie to enter the home unless they signed a non-disclosure agreement. To note, there is nothing In the court order that states any language regarding a non-disclosure agreement, Jeanne's lawyer wrote. Jeanne said when she was allowed in the garage, she saw her boxes have been damaged. She said Jeezy's lawyer previously praised the rapper in court for the condition in which he maintained her belongings. Jeezy said her items, which carried immeasurable personal value, were left in disarray. The boxes were wet, with water having soaked through the boxes, damaging personal items. There were mouse traps set in the garage, presumably set for mice which had eaten through some of the boxes. Many of Jeanne's awards were broken and scratched. Jeanne said Jeezy had caused her to incur significant legal bills due to his refusal to abide by any court order. Jeanne denied she was angry and revengeful following the split. Her lawyer wrote, the only part that seemed to be angry and revengeful is Jeezy. A judge has yet to rule on the back and forth. In Touch previously reported back in September 2024, Jeanne filed a petition accusing Jeezy of contempt. Jeanne accused Jeezy of failing to comply with certain terms of their divorce settlement. Specifically, she claimed he owed her money for daycare and rent expenses. Jeezy denied the accusations. He said it was disheartening that his ex would make such blatant misrepresentations in court. He claimed Jeanne had filed to provide proper receipts for expenses. Child, if this ain't a messy situation, I don't know what is. Now, these two, they dated for 2 years, and then they were married in a lavish backyard ceremony. I believe it was during COVID. But I think people had hopes for this marriage. Now, there were said to have been cultural differences. And I'm going to show you she was close to her mother.
Chúc mừng năm mới, Happy Lunar New Year, the year of the tiger. I wish all of my fans and fam on Facebook, Instagram, successful in business, lucky always, and healthy always, and make a lot of money.
Happy New Year, everybody. Chúc mừng năm mới. Mwah. For me and Mama Mai.
Now, Mama Mai is a big personality, okay? And at one point, I don't know if she still has her YouTube channel, but Jeanne had a YouTube channel where she featured her mother and introduced their daughter, Monaco. And she is so adorable. And all that to say is that the relationship wasn't all bad. Their beautiful daughter, Monaco, they shared joint custody of her, even though Jeanne sought sole custody, but she lost. Even though there were abuse claims, this is her showing off bruises, claiming that Jeezy grabbed her from behind, choked her, and pushed her down some stairs, child. But, all in all, Jeezy seems to have great love for their daughter as well. And kids from a previous marriage, this is his son, Jadarius. Now, he and Jadarius have had public fights where it turned out he ended up pushing Jadarius into a shower that broke the shower door, the glass shower door, and it was a vicious fight, actually. There was an article about it. Young Jeezy arrested for alleged battery against his son. Young Jeezy, born J. Wayne Jenkins, has been arrested for alleged battery, false imprisonment, and making terrorist threats against his own son. Jeezy turned himself in on Friday after a grand jury warrant for his charge was issued. He was released on bond for $45,000. Says the rapper reportedly got into a fight with Jadarius, 17 at the time, in an Atlanta bathroom in September 2012, during which Jeezy allegedly threw his son into a glass shower door. He then reportedly punched Jadarius in the face, dragged him into the bedroom, threw him on the bed, and continued to attack him. When he tried to escape, Jeezy's bodyguard blocked his way. According to police documents, Jadarius claims his dad threatened him numerous times, saying things such as, "If I could get away with it, I would kill you. And I will put a bullet in your head right now." Ooh. We have no doubt this matter will resolve itself appropriately. At this moment, Mr. Jenkins is thankful for the support of his fans and the respect of his family's privacy. That's what his attorney had to say. Sources connected to the rapper told TMZ that while Jeezy and Jadarius did get into a fight after he and his son, told his son he couldn't stay at his house, it never turned violent. TMZ sources also said that Jeezy admits to shoving his son to the floor, but never assaulted him otherwise, and that alleged threats were to make the point that he brought Jadarius into this world and he could take him out of it. The sources blamed the entire scandal on Tanisha Dykes, Jadarius' mother, for brainwashing their son and using the charges as an attempt to get more money out of the rapper. Okay, one thing we know about Jeezy is he is about his money. Now, despite these past stories and the abuse claims from Jeanne, Jeezy was still able to get joint custody. And with his previous two kids, he never sought joint custody or especially not sole custody. So questioning why Monaco. The suspicion is that Jeanne's trying to hold on to his money, child. Not saying he's a bad father. There's been no such claims. But Jeezy has a reputation that precedes him. I don't know who was familiar with Jeezy, listen to this, in his past, but he used to be known as the Snowman. Now, his past reputation precedes him. And that says to me, at least, that this man is a hustler who puts money above everything. Jeezy and Jeanne's union was surprising to me because they come from such different backgrounds, such different worlds. I truly believe he did see Jeanne as a stepping stone. I do. He literally went from this to this, okay? And I'm not saying she's 100% responsible, but I'm just saying. I think he saw Jeanne as a stepping stone to a new and elevated public persona. He started his career, like I said, known as the Snowman. And that name had nothing to do with weather and everything to do with street pharmaceuticals. He had gotten into a years-long beef with rapper Gucci Mane. And not only a rapper, Gucci Mane was also his mentor. But it resulted in violence, including one of Jeezy's artists being killed, okay? Now, they have since reconciled, but the documented details of the beef, to me, prove the level of his grime. Now, don't get me wrong, Jeanne is a hustler too. You have to be in her business. But the way he dealt with his oldest son, like I read to you, Jadarius, also says he's not one to play with. He's a dangerous character. I'm pretty sure that's why his ex and his daughter's nanny sent signed affidavits to the judge playing up his character. Now check this out. Jeezy's ex Mahi defends devoted and peaceful rapper from Jeanne Mai's abuse allegations in divorce battle. Jeezy has called upon a couple of women in his life to defend him against estranged wife Jeanne Mai's abuse allegations. Mahi, who shares daughter Amra Noor Jenkins, 10, with the put-on rapper, filed a sworn affidavit on Friday morning testifying to Jeezy's peaceful demeanor. She said, "I've witnessed Jay be a devoted, caring, and present father to our daughter and his oldest child, Jadarius Jenkins, 28. Now, she had to write on behalf of Jadarius' mother because Jadarius' mother wasn't playing those games. I feel like these women sent these affidavits, which are sworn testaments to the court, out of fear. For sure, it was out of fear. This is his ex here. Now, I think Jeanne got so caught up in his love bombing and playing this role of power couple that she neglected to doing her due diligence, with regard to verifying his background, his character. Is he a loyal guy? to figure out what his true intentions were. Now, not surprisingly, he promoted his book as he announced their divorce. And he was the one that announced it because he's the one that filed. He blindsided her, and I'm pretty sure she was quite devastated. She seems like the type who's going to put on airs, and she's going to show the public one face, but be perfectly happy with behind the scenes scratching and clawing at each other and having a very tumultuous relationship. Her career means more to her than anything. Well, except her daughter. But I'm just saying, I think her career comes first, as does his. Now, she still tried to keep it together after the announcement, and she even helped to try to promote this book, having their daughter say a prayer. I looked for it on Instagram. I think she took that down because she did look crazy doing that. But it all fell apart shortly after, and then it was no holds barred, child. Jeezy totally used this woman, like I said, to further his reach in the entertainment industry, in my opinion. I mean, these two stunting and fronting in front of the cameras every time you turn your head. And that was not his normal. Like, you wouldn't normally see Jeezy out here, with these type of PR situations going on. Now, this is him right after he announced the divorce. This is what the type of pictures he was posting. Looked to me like he was saying he was back on the market. And I feel like he was broadening his market, and he also was trying to just level up his net worth at the end of the day. But, he and Jeanne, they got a beautiful daughter out of the situation. Now, mind you, Jeanne is a woman who said absolutely no to kids. And her first husband even divorced her because of that hard no. But now she's a super mom, okay? Or at least she appears to be. And maybe this was her fate, for little Monaco to be here. Now, I'm not sure why Jeanne took 6 months from the divorce to pick her things up from Jeezy's home. I mean, really, if these things were so precious and important, why? Why did you take so long to pick your things up? Was she trying to reconnect, or what would be the reason for her not to have picked, even have a third party pick up her stuff for her? It seems like she might still be holding on to for some reason. Maybe she still has hope. Or maybe she was plotting and trying to bug the place. Who knows? I mean, I honestly suggest she just move on, child, and fast. Because his past says he will go to any lengths to come out in the better light. His reputation is like currency to him. And all of this bad press will not bode well for either of them. The industry is very fickle. And she's also risking her career by pulling these stunts and playing headline wars. I do wish them both the best. More so for little Monaco's sake. She deserves peace, not a lifetime of her parents' vitriol and toxicity. I mean, that type of energy is tangible, and it will affect her in the worst way. So if they truly love her, they will both just let it go, child. And that's all I got on this couple. Like, share, subscribe. Till next time, bye.